found was bound, but now I'm free.
Join Fit FM weeknights at 8 p.m. for News Brief, a compilation of news stories from Trelawney and neighboring parishes provided by credible news sources, with a repeat at 10 a.m. weekday mornings. That's News Brief, weeknights at 8 p.m., with a repeat weekdays at 10 a.m. on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
So here I am, the controversial Ed Wallace. I'm on Community Buzz every Monday afternoon from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Fit FM 96.7. Call me. Our number is 876-482-4944. Let us discuss topics affecting your community: education, health, community development, infrastructure, and anything else. Remember, Community Buzz, Mondays 3 to 6 on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Under the pressures of your life and it tough. Now stay down, mama, time to get up.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good Monday afternoon to you, and welcome to Community Buzz here on Fit FM 96.7, Your Life, Your Music. I'm your host, Ed Wallace, and I'll be with you for the next 2.5 hours or so. Yeah, remember that. Well, let me just welcome all those who are on Facebook and people on YouTube, people on Twitter, people on all those radio apps. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this afternoon's program. We have a good show lined up for you. Well, this is not a show. It's going to be serious business, eh? Joel? It's going to be serious business. And we would love for you to participate. We would love to hear your voice. And then, so I'm going to give you our number, which is 876-482-4944. And you're going to use that for text because we're going to be using the line to talk to our special guest this afternoon. And our special guest will be His Worship the Mayor of Falmouth. We'll be talking about a whole gamut of issues, some controversial, some not so controversial. And the line that will be free for call and for text, I'm hearing just WhatsApp. It's 76317-1991. So talk to us. We would love to hear from you. All right. Any little tidbit you have. And it's going to be almost all Falmouth this afternoon. If you're already listening, Your Worship, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. And we are happy that we're going to have you today to talk about some of these issues. Mark Golding, leader of the opposition, is celebrating a birthday today. We want to wish him a happy birthday. I don't know how happy it can be given the struggles that are occurring now. I don't know how personally people will take these issues and how heavy it will lay. But God's richest blessings to you as a servant of Jamaica, sir. And we pray you strength, health, and everything that is good that would carry you through as you try to conduct your job. And that comes here from Community Buzz as well as the full force of Fit FM 96.7 behind it. Anniversary, just want to say we continue to celebrate our anniversary, Fit FM 96.7 here. And we're doing it all year, all year, all year. Let me just back up and say, all those other people having birthdays for the past week, happy birthday to you and God's richest blessings to you also. We hope that God will strengthen you and you'll get um, all your dreams, all your desires come through. Just keep in mind that God won't give you more than you can bear, one. And two, well, I should put it this way, God is not going to give you more than you can handle. And sometimes we do ask for things that we can't handle. So let us just take time. If God don't deliver it, it's either not time yet or you need a little bit more readiness for it to be delivered. I want to say heal up, because I think Dorothy Myers Brown from the Kiwanis Club should be listening us this afternoon. She's supposed to be here with us in Jamaica, so I don't know if she's listening. If she's listening, hi and hello, Mrs. Brown, Nurse Brown. Nathaniel Shines, I know you ran away, come back, so big up. You're back in parish and everything. Big up to you. I hope you're on listening this afternoon. Well, as we go along, other people who join us, we will be saying hi, hello. Derek Scott, how could I forget? Derek Scott is also online. He was here with us last week discussing the issue of the fountain and the bolt statue, that kind of a juxtapositioning. And this afternoon, I'm sure that he will be listening keenly, since His Worship the Mayor will be here with us, giving a response to some of the concerns that have been raised. All right, so welcome, Derek. I don't know yet who else is online, but soon I will continue to just big up people and to heal up people. In the meantime, though, losses. I tell you, see, the crime, they just wanton loss of life, and wanton not loss of life, but killing. The killings. I don't know why we're doing this. And at some point, it must stop. And, I'm going to put it on the politicians, not just from a policy perspective, but some criminals are well known, right? Find some way to deal with it. You know the right thing to do. You all know the right thing to do. So do it. Do the right thing. All right? I really, truly believe that. All right? Want to just say condolences to all those people who lost loved ones. That little boy on the bicycle down there in West Kingston, there seemed to be two little boys who got shot and killed over the last week. And then you have a couple I think is in St. James, that was killed again. One a security guard and one a brother. I think a brother and a sister killed. And you just have the killings going on and on and on. Some of these things, things can be done about it. So we're looking forward to some stemming of this kind of a tide, But we mourn with you, and we pray that God will send a comforter to those families who are left behind. Sometimes children are left behind. In this case, with the two kids, this past week, mothers and fathers have been left grieving over bright young lives, And we just, oh Lordy, we just hope that they can be comforted. And you can bet your bottom dollar that the country has lost when we lose youth in this kind of way. We lose them when we don't educate them too. We lose them when we don't feed them properly. Look, we have to prepare for the next generation, and we have to do better than this to prepare for them. Yeah? The abuse of children continue. Pastors, oh Lordy. I just say, as we struggle with these things, let us remember that we did not come on this earth to kill each other. That's not what we're for, you know. So let us just find other ways to resolve our problems. In the meantime, as I said again, condolence to those families who have lost loved ones to sickness, to COVID. um, I want to also say, for those of you in hospital, take heart for whatever reason. Take heart. Soji from Royal Buno and Hilltop. I know that you're in the hospital now. Big up, big up. I hope you will recover quickly and you'll be back on the road again soon. All right, so that's it. Now we can move to the minutes and look at some of the things that we looked at last week. What the first thing that I'm gonna bring up here again, because we're not leaving it. Once we get onto it, we're gonna talk about it till forever. Till forever. Um Joe. And so we're gonna talk about the Falmouth to Springville main road. The Falmouth to Springville main road in up there in D side. We still want um we still want to see some work going on that road, because it was getting bad again. You know, um, it was getting bad again, and well, it is worse now. Actually, it is worse now. Yes, that's what I've been asking. Yeah, so it is getting worse now, and we would love to see worse again. So we would love to see something done about that road. I cannot believe that what is happening on the Falmouth to Springville Road, that what happens at the Martha Bray end of it, the Martha Bray to Granville end of it, that is how the road is throughout. I am not willing to accept that. Can't stay, someone. It cannot stay like that. And so we're asking for some attention to this Falmouth to Springville main road. All right. Yeah. No, we never leave out Refuge and Stuart Castle out of this, you know. And I have an opportunity to ask the His Worship to I don't know. We got a half promise from His Worship for a street light. Did we we never get a half promise? I'm thinking that we got a half promise, not a full promise, but a half one. But he can clear that up when he comes on later. And so the Refuge Road, the Stuart Castle roads, all of those, we're looking for some work to be done on it as soon as possible. In the minutes again, we looked at White Bridge out down on Market Street there, within the vicinity of the favorite restaurant of most people. We call that Draggy Bank area there. We see good work, good, solid, decent work is being done there, where a retaining kind of a stone wall is being built in the waterway to retain the banks and retain the road. So I suspect that when the retaining structure is final, then the road is going to be fixed, and we're going to have another way in and out of in and around Falmouth, because that's not in and out of Falmouth. Falmouth still have almost one way in, one way out, you know. Well, actually, let me be fair, two way in, two way out. You go in Martha Bray, you come out Martha Bray. You go in Bowgate, you come out Bowgate. And we block off the Rock end. So that brings me now to Rock Bridge. Again, another question I'd like to ask His Worship, if he could give us some update on the Rock Bridge. So in the meantime, some things are not happening, some things are happening. While we're talking, Waterworks, Mr. White, Councillor White, and Deputy Mayor, was doing his bit in Middlemost, all right, replacing water pipes and all that kind of thing. So some work is being done, but we need to step it up, and we need to see other councillors doing other things in other areas. As I say that, This was supposed to be in the news, but the truth of the matter is, I see some tree cutting and bank embankment cutting going on in the Duansville area, which is also another good thing. And we congratulate and thank those who have been doing that kind of well needed work. And we hope that that will indeed continue. Yeah, I already mentioned that the murders continue. Couldn't hold that back. Well, as a protest happening, and this should be in the news, so I'm going to leave it until in the news. But I see some protests happening in Kingston, and I'm going to raise it because last week we spoke about citizens neighborhood watches, and this perhaps dovetails into the neighborhood watches. So just recently, we see a lot of protests taking place in particularly the western part of Kingston. Children, women coming out and demonstrating. They want peace, they want peace, they want peace. And this is what the Neighborhood Watch is talking about. This is exactly what the Neighborhood Watch is talking about. Banding together to try to stem the crime and violence and getting peace, because it's not stemming crime or violence for stemming its sake, but so that we can have peaceful lives, and that every area of Jamaica, even before 2030, can become places to live, work, raise families, follow careers, and all that kind of thing along the lines of Vision 2030. So again, just want to mention to people who are hearing me and who are interested to touch base with Dr. Asha Mwendo to formulate your neighborhood watches to try to help with stemming this issue. The problem cannot be solved by government alone. They have a big role to play. The political parties have big roles to play. But at the end of the day, we too in the communities have a big role to play, because the political parties are not buildings of stone and wood. They're built of people like you and me. And so we need to be active in trying to get this crime reduced, and so that we can walk safely within our communities. On to COVID now. For COVID, at this stage, we normally take a little break just to break the minutes between minutes and COVID. So I'm going to go to that break right now, and we'll be right back in just a few. All right? Stay with us, please. Yeah.
Touching your face after touching contaminated surfaces or sick people is one way the coronavirus COVID-19 can be transmitted. So, protect yourself and others from getting sick by constantly cleaning your hands with alcohol-based sanitizer or with soap and water. Wash hands after coughing or sneezing, before, during, and after food preparation, before eating, after using the toilet, caring for the sick, when hands are visibly dirty, and after handling animals or animal waste. A COVID-19 prevention tip from the World Health Organization and the Jamaica Information Service.
It was David Fitter who said, "If children are given the necessary tools to succeed, they will succeed beyond their wildest dreams." Young Achievers on Fit FM 96.7. Monday at 7:30 a.m. inside Morning Connection. Young Achievers is designed to highlight the positive achievements of young Jamaicans from all walks of life who are excelling despite the odds. Young Achievers, inside Morning Connection on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music. Join Fit FM weeknights at 8 p.m. for News Brief, a compilation of news stories from Trelawney and neighboring parishes provided by credible news sources, with a repeat at 10 a.m. weekday mornings. That's News Brief, weeknights at 8 p.m., with a repeat weekdays at 10 a.m. on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Do you operate a small business in Trelawney? Well, talk to us. Be a proud community partner of Fit FM 96.7. Let us help you reach your target audience for an unbelievably low cost. Contact our sales office today at 876-544-0791, 876-377-3442, or email us at fitfmsales@gmail.com. Fit FM 96.7, Trelawney's Radio. Your life, your music.
Yes, we're back. Took a little break to just pick up some other names now who are on with us, like Melcinda. We have to pick up Melcinda, always with us. She's supposed to now get our diamond recognition as a Fit FM 96.7 fan. Welcome, Melcinda. Dr. Asha, here you're not so well, but you're here with us as usual. You're not leaving. Thank you for tuning in. Now, before I go to the next item, which is actually the COVID figures and COVID in and of itself, I want to go back into the minutes to talk about one of the reasons why the mayor is coming here this afternoon is in response to the interview that we had last week from at least two persons in the diaspora and continuing discussions since then, because other discussions have come up. I've been involved in other discussions to find out where we're going and why. Now, as I understand it, the diaspora are concerned about the situation, and I don't know how to put the situation. I guess His Worship the Mayor will explain to us later on. But the diaspora seem to be a little bit on the, what should I say? Less informed than they would want to be in relation to the circumstances under which Usain Bolt's statue will be placed in the square where it belongs. And the concern was that the fountain was going to be abandoned. And so the diaspora was concerned about that issue, and as I understand it, and that the two pieces of history, monuments of history, could coexist in the same area. I went there today again, looked at the big space over there, and I cannot say that they're wrong. But the mayor is going to come to tell us what is happening so that we have a better understanding. And maybe, I don't know, just maybe, we will agree with the mayor on the plans that that are afoot. So let us listen out for that discussion. In addition, we will be talking to the mayor about some other issues too, less controversial issues. And just stay with us, and you will likely enjoy this program this afternoon again. On to COVID. Oh, gosh. COVID-19. We had 2 deaths over the past 24 hours. 2 deaths. And this continued reduction in the dying off of people as a result of COVID is good. Now again, accident is still killing off more people than anything else during the week. Have you noticed the amount of motor vehicle accidents that cost life over the past week? Quite a few, yeah. And so just like how we move to control COVID, and we're here with COVID now, we need to control motor vehicle accidents. Whole heap of things we can do to control that if we really choose to, And if government can use the ODPM and the DRMA to manage COVID, then there must be a system to manage traffic in such a way that that so much deaths are not caused on the roads. Notwithstanding, 2 new deaths, bringing total loss of life through COVID to 1,152. We had 85 new cases over the last 24 hours, and the total number of cases that we're looking at now is 51,220. And, you can see the curve not only flatten, but is just taking its time and sloping off. And we hope that with um, the new hours and the new what should I say? I can't call it curfew anymore because it don't look like no curfew. With the new freeing up of activities in Jamaica, that we will be responsible and that COVID will continue to slide downwards. If you notice, COVID is on the up and up, on the rise in the US again. It would seem to me that there are people in that country who have decided to spite their own government by not taking the shots and are eventually reaping the consequence. I don't know whose head they're wanting to leave that on. And even though I'm not even so sure that that's what they're doing, but the situation in some areas in the United States, particularly with the Delta form coming out of India now, taking over in New York as a dominant strain of COVID-19, we just need to be careful. We are hearing that it's more contagious. It don't come with no fever or anything like that, but comes with a whole heap of headache and pain and all kind of thing, and it is deadly. And we don't have to ask if it's deadly, because you remember when bodies were washing up on the Ganges, when they were exhuming bodies near the river Ganges in India, a whole lot of people seem to have died, and that strain seemed to be dangerous. We have 3,014 active cases right now, coming from week before, from 14,000 last week and 18,000 the week before. We are now at 3,014, and I pray that this figure I collected it correctly. But 3,000 down from the 10,000 is a very nice thing as we go. So COVID-19, and then while we're doing this, remember, August 1 is coming up, August 6 is coming up, Dream Weekend is coming up, all kind of activities coming up in this Emancipendence celebration segment here. And I just want to continue to warn people to be careful. I say one of my friends, Beth King, I don't know if you're listening. Beth King sent me a WhatsApp message today telling me that you must double up on the mask because the Delta virus is more dangerous and all of that. But all you need is to continue to be careful. Wear your mask. And again, if you need to social distance, do some social distancing. Wash your hands, sanitize, and just keep your area clean. Just sanitize your hands, sanitize everything, and continue to keep your area clean. Get your vaccinations. Get your vaccines. If the vaccine is available to you, don't hold up, get it. I've gotten mine. Producer Julia has gotten hers. And so we're fully vaccinated now, and we're encouraging people to. Would you encourage people to be vaccinated, ma'am? Yes, she said yes. So we are both encouraging people to get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Some protection is better than no protection at all. And we've been preaching that for over a year. All right. So so that is what is happening with COVID-19. In the news, I'm going into the news because we're waiting to get in touch. As we wait to get in touch, I think we're in touch now. And so we're going to be talking to His Worship the Mayor. Good afternoon, Your Worship.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Yeah, I never realized that you were a homeward boy.
Huh?
I never realized. I'm hearing that you are a homeward boy.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Who am I talking to?
This is Ed Wallace. I'm certain you knew that you were going to be on with me this afternoon.
So, yes, man.
Yeah, man.
What time? You're on now?
Yes, we're on now. We're on.
All right.
So let me just say to the listeners, we're talking to His Worship the Mayor of Falmouth. We're talking to his mayor, his worship, the mayor of Falmouth, and we'll be discussing some very important issues. Your worship, I think you've been brief because I think you're sure that there were news articles, there were interviews on Fit FM 96.7 here last week concerning the situation with the fountain and the erection of Usain Bolt's statue in the square of Falmouth. The first thing I want to say to you, Mayor, is that and ask you as a matter of fact, your name is being called as if you are the one putting up and you're the one doing. And who are the parties really making the decisions? Because you have even come under some personal attacks. So who are the ones really making the decisions?
Well, listen, I am used to the personal attacks, but it is, I think the first thing what a person should realize is why, and ask the question, why is such decisions being made, and what is in the best decision for the town? Now, let me go into some details with you. The mountain in Falmouth has been there for a very long time, and is indeed a very significant because it's associated with water square, which shows that water used to be in the town. In 1805, a fountain was in Water Square established. It had been there for quite some time. In 1820, that fountain was demolished and a smaller one built. Then in 1950, another fountain, designed for another fountain, was created and built in Water Square. In 2011, the fountain again was changed when the port was coming on board and they were doing all the renovation to Water Square. So you're following me? 1805, 1820, 1950, 2011. Now in 2020, we have been having problems with the fountain in Water Square. What happened is that the taximen at night would use it to watch their vehicles. Men would bathe in that fountain, even in daytime. The fountain was indeed vandalized, that even the pumps were working because of it. So we repair. Somebody else would go and take out the bulbs, take out sockets and all of that. So in 2020, we decided, along with the various agencies, of course, I know in that letter that somebody was talking about hearing board. Are you hearing me?
We have a bad connection, so we're going to call you back, Your Worship.
All right.
Just a second. But that just came clear, Your Worship. Your Worship? Hello?
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you again. Go ahead now.
You can get a better connection?
We're hearing you now. We're hearing you now.
All right. Well, I'm saying to you then that I don't know where you didn't hear me, but in 1805 the fountain was changed. The design. In 1820 the design was changed again to a smaller fountain.
Mm-hmm.
In 1950 it was changed where we had the roundabout around the fountain. Then in 2011, when the new port was being built, the fountain was again changed.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, as we are now, where we are now, we are now building, we are now putting in the design of a new fountain.
Mm-hmm.
The design came about with the need that other people were having, the concern of the way the fountain was being kept.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would have the taximen at night uses it for the washing of their vehicles. Madmen would bathe in it. So we have been talking and say, how can we have a better fountain that would accommodate and cater to the water sphere? So we decided the statue for Usain Bolt
Mm-hmm.
was commissioned,
Mm-hmm.
and it should have gone over the port, but we lobbied to the minister, and the minister, along with us, decided that we could find place in Water Square.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at it, and the folks who are responsible in doing the design, we asked them that we wanted both the statue of Usain Bolt and the fountain to be in Water Square, so a design would be done. There is a design, but it hasn't been completed as yet. The one that people have fountain will be removed. It's not so, because a fountain will exist along with the statue of Dr. Usain Bolt. After the design has been completed, we will be sending out the designs to the various agencies and media, so that the citizens will be free to come in and give us their idea and what it is like and what they would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, the story going around that there won't be a fountain in Water Square is not true. We also believe that Dr. Usain Bolt has contributed a lot to this parish, and there we should accommodate his statue within Water Square.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we would go further to say that when the statue is finished, visitors coming on the port will have something to come in the town for, to see Usain Bolt along with the new design of the fountain.
Mm-hmm.
So in that will be a tourist attraction in itself within Water Square.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have a more modified fountain that will be solar operated, and the fountain water will be coming up. Then above that will be Dr. Usain Bolt's statue.
So are you saying that Dr. Bolt's statue will be in the fountain?
Won't be inside of the fountain, but above the fountain,
Mm-hmm.
so that the water coming up
Mm-hmm.
will be coming up, but not on Dr. Bowles' statue.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have the water coming up. People will be able to come and look at the picture, at the statue, take pictures with the statue and the water coming up. I want to tell you, the design is great.
All right. Let me ask you
and
this.
I believe that, yes.
Let me ask you this. There are two complaints that you point out while you were talking. And one of them is that madman used to bathe in the fountain. Mentally ill persons used to bathe in the fountain, and taximen used to wash car. What about this design that will stop taximen from washing cars and people bathing?
Listen, remember, we have pedestrianized Water Square, you know. But when the workers of the municipality, is gone home, come off job, then everybody has a town to do what they want to. So there is nothing that we can do at that time of the night when they are using the fountain.
But I was there today. I was there today, Your Worship. I was there today. And what I saw in the area is that a bread van was parked up in front of NCB. I see a number of cars parked in there, some dilapidated, some don't even belong on the road, it would seem, parked up in that area. And so that you say that the municipal people are off duty and all kind of things happening. Things are still happening there, unless what I see there is
yes, but that is something quite different. That is another problem that we are having, and all of those will be remedied. Notices have been served on all those people that it has in vehicle there. Every one of them has got a written notice from the municipal corporation.
Okay.
It will be a new change again.
All right.
Because we are preparing for the opening of the whole tourist sector again, a ship coming to Jamaica.
Okay.
So everybody there has received a notice.
All right. So
the people are.
Did I cut you off? Did I cut you off on your explanation as to how we're going to stop mentally ill people and taxi drivers from going in there? I know we can block them and keep them, the taxi drivers blocked, but what about the mentally ill people? Since that is one of the big
there won't be enough. Remember, a drop-in center is being created down by Victoria Park, close to the police station. A drop-in center is created where people goes down there. So you'll have most of them down there, plus homeless shelter. It will be built. We just had a groundbreaking 2 weeks ago.
Fit FM was there in the person of me.
Yes.
There, yes.
Right. So we'll be having that down there. The mentally ill people will be able to receive their meals, medication, and get a bath and fresh clothes.
All right.
So we won't have the need for people to be coming into Water Square to bathe.
Mayor, you have go ahead. Finish your thought and let me get the question in. Finish your thought. So
no, man, I'm finished. I'm finished. All
right.
Let me hear your question.
All right. The question now, Your Worship, is we're going to have Water Square and Bold statue. What is the significance of fountain? What is the significance of Bold statue? I get it that tourists will come in and see the Bold statue and take pictures and all of that. I get that. But what is there any deeper significance to these two, let me say for now, monuments?
Well, let me just say to you, Water Square, the fountain in Water Square, is a landmark. Water associating with Water Square is a landmark. We will never ever take away that from Water Square because that was how it get its name. Yes. And Dr. Usain Bolt statue is also important to Trelawney and to Falmouth, indeed. Because remember, during his young days, coming from William Nibble, he spent many long evenings in Water Square. So placing his statue in Water Square will directly showcase our achievement and what one Trelawney man has achieved.
All right.
So both is important. Water Square associated with us having running water before maybe New York or Manhattan. That is important too. So we are taking it away. But at the same time, you must have the proper design. And we have created a design. The design that is being looked at is the same concept that is used in England, in America. Something that is easily maintained and has a modern look. Those are important. You can't expect to have the old fountain where it was like a tank in 1805. Things and time has changed. So we must modernize as we move along. And that is why I told you that this fountain has changed over and over, So it's not the fountain that was from the beginning, the original fountain. Yes. It changed from 1805,
all right.
1820, 1950.
If I should put it to you, Mr. Mayor.
And 2011.
If I should put it to you, Mr. Mayor, that these are two separate pieces of history which could be treated differently because there is a significant story against each of them. What would you say?
Yes, but that doesn't say we have to separate them. I haven't heard anything that would say separate them. It's the old history with the new history. Putting them together, you have history. So finding a way for both to exist, coexist within the space of the town. It is something. You can't tell me that you have the fountain in one corner and you have Usain Bolt statue in another corner. No, there is limited space within the town, and we must see how we can put our design in such a way that both can live in the same place together. And what we are doing is we will have the fountain there. You'll be able to come and make your wishes, as many of these tourists, when they go about and they throw their coin. Number two, it will bring business into the town of Falmouth. It will be able to pull the visitors from the port into the town of Falmouth, where the business people will be able to earn some dollars too. So we can look at it as a way of saying, listen, put Usain Bolt. You remember, Usain Bolt's statue was slated to be over the port.
It ought not to have been. It ought not to have been. I say it should not have been. It should not have been. It should not have been this. Right.
So we must offer a place where we believe it will be installed and being a centerpiece. I don't want to have Dr. Usain Bolt statue where I have to put it in one of the back gardens. I want it in the middle of Water Square, where everybody will be able to come, sit down, look at it, while you have the pretty fountain coming up on and off with proper lights, easily maintained, and never run into disrepair.
All right.
You have seen for yourself how many times Water Square is in Water Square. The fountain isn't running. All sort of garbage getting there. We don't want that to happen. We want to have a modern fountain, and as soon as the design is signed off on, I am engaged folks from the diaspora that will have Zoom meeting. We'll be able to show them all of this.
But Your
We'll
Worship,
be able to let them have their feedback.
Your
We'll
Worship,
be going to Chamber of Commerce.
Your Worship,
Oh, everybody.
Your Worship,
Yes.
wouldn't you be spending some money, and I think big money too, in the design phase? And could that money not have been more efficiently spent if the consultation took place before the finishing of the
No.
design?
No, we have to first show to them what is our intention. So it is a design that isn't complete and will be open for discussion.
So after the
So
show,
this is what we want to put. When we place that this design to them, they might say that, listen, we would want it a little bit better, because remember, there is nobody that is going to give us free design. We are leading the process, so we must take that responsibility. We must allow the citizens, the technical folks, to so advise us, and we would be able to give our feedback to.
all right. So
it can't
what
be a
would be
thing where
what would be the response if the people, the citizens of Falmouth, the residents of Falmouth, rejected the joint design in favor of splitting it? What would be the response?
Well, listen to me. I don't get that what you are saying, so I don't know if you could repeat it for me.
If the citizens, if the residents of Falmouth at this point in time decide that they don't like the design and would want a change in the design to separate the two monuments, what would be the response of the municipality?
Listen, there is more than one design. There is more than one design that will lead us to the final design.
Okay.
So it can't be. It can't be. And listen, let me be straight with you.
Do you recall
what I hear coming from the diaspora? I don't hear it coming from the ordinary man on the street. The man on the street wants the statue, and they want it with Water Square. I have got people coming in and saying to me, Mr. Mayor, we want the statue. Even since this morning, I have people coming off the street. I have business people coming off. I say, please go ahead. We don't want to see a gold statue in one corner and water and the fountain in another. So we have to hear the common man on the street too, We have to listen to them because sometimes they are the ones who give us the better idea.
To be fair, though, let me just say this. Let me just say this to be fair. Let me just say this to be fair. My understanding of the diaspora is not that is Water Square or Bull statue or Water Square. What I'm getting when I heard from them on this very program last week is that the two can coexist, but they should not be joined because of the individual significance of each. So that is just for clarity. They're not saying that they want to throw it. As a matter of fact, they are embracing
not so.
Bull statue.
Not so. That isn't what is coming from the letter that is written in the paper. In fact, the writer of the letter says that we have guarding at the parish council where we must put Bull statue. That is what is said in the letter.
Oh,
so
but
we'll have to look back at it. But they are saying, and let me tell you, when I spoke with one of the representatives from the diaspora, and when I explained to him what was happening and what we are doing, he said, "Oh, I get a better understanding now."
All right, and
because this is that, and the story that is being spread is that we are getting rid of the fountain in Water Square.
Yes, that is part of the story going around.
Yes, replacing it with Dr. Bowles' statue, but that is not what coexist within.
Yes, I hope you're not moving around, Your Worship. I hope you're not moving around.
I'm not moving around. I mean, I'm sitting one place.
All right. All right. So the other thing that I wanted to say to you, because now we're talking about Mr. Beckford in particular, but Mr. Beckford is not the diaspora. All right. And so
that's right.
Mr. Beckford and the letter is just a contribution to the debate that is going on in certain quarters.
Yes.
So I don't want to characterize Mr. Beckford as the diaspora for any at any point in time. All right. So now the consultation, you say, is going to take place after you have completed all your drawings and stuff to present to the people. What format is that?
The drawing is in the design stage. We are designing the fountain. So after a design that the committee we sit on, and we decide with what knowledge we are getting from the people around, we will present something to you, to the public. You'll be able to come and view it. You'll be able to make your comments. We are doing it on all platforms. And then we will take your comments and we have the final draft. I will show you now the draft and say, is this comfortable with you? Okay. But what we don't want, we want to be leaders. What we don't want is for us to go to the public before we have a design.
Okay. You know what I'm recalling, though, Your Worship? I'm recalling the unveiling of the first Bob Marley statue at the National Stadium, which was just roundly rejected. That statue just had to move forthwith, just move. Whoever built it, whatever expense it was built at, that just had to move. So I'm recalling that with the replacement of Bob Marley's statue now with the guitar in the same area. So those incidents are incidents we would want to prevent, don't you think?
Well, listen, this won't be the case. The case is, and let me tell you something. This was presented at our monthly council. Not the council. The civic committee meeting, and the members, representative of the Chamber of Commerce, is a part of the committee, and they have this information. They've gone back to their members to feed us with the information that what their members is saying about it. So we have been working that way. We have been working with SPC. We have been working with all the agencies to make sure that when the design is finished, it is accepted by the people at Trelawney.
All right.
We don't want to kill the messenger before the message is out there.
All right. Have we been actively engaged or engage with the diaspora as a part of all those interest groups? Have we recognized the diaspora as a legitimate stakeholder in this issue and have had pre-discussions with them also?
Listen, I've been having dialogue with Mr. Mike Watkins, who I usually dialogue with. Mike right now is organizing through my PR lady a Zoom meeting at the appropriate time. I have been in dialogue with Derek Scott. I have been in dialogue with a few more. I've been in dialogue with some of them who came out on visit. I came to visit my office.
Have you
to talk about the statue?
Have you established agreements in principle? And remember now, Your Worship, we're not just talking about the statue. The statue is significant, but the issue is not the statue. The issue is whether or not they have to be merged or the story is better told having them separate. That's the issue. I don't think anybody has any issue.
We don't have the space. We don't have the space for one to be in one corner and one in. Water Square is the center of the town. We want everybody. We don't want one set of people to be saying that we disrespected Mr. Bowles and didn't put him in somewhere in Water Square.
I hardly think that
we don't want that. So we are looking at both sides.
Okay. All right. Your Worship, that was kind of one of the things that we wanted to clear up with you in relation to that particular debate. And you say that at a later stage, and Fit FM 96.7 will constantly be having discussions, but you have given your clear and concise explanation as to what is happening there and how you will proceed. Certainly discussions are going to continue around this very topic. So we'll see how it pan out to the point where you get to show your drawings and people get to make their contribution. I'm a bit surprised though that I should have did I ask you or did you? I should ask. Did you answer? Did you get an agreement in principle with the diaspora as to how things are proceeding? Because the additional side talk seem to be, if I'm to understand your discussion, it seemed to be noise in the corner.
Seems to be the what?
Were you having agreements in principle with the people from the diaspora that you have been talking to? Have you spoken to them as a group, and have you had agreements in principle?
I have spoken to them as individuals who we have been having dialogue over the years. Ever since I came into office, Mike Watkins is a person who I would dialogue with. He would make various contacts and have meetings and let us know what is happening. In when we were having our 250th celebration and the plans were going on, Mike Watkins was the only person that we communicated with and who came down from New York on many occasions just for the meeting.
Okay.
And we would have meetings via Zoom and phone. Derek Scott is also very integral in all of this. And we also have Country, who is another person that communicate with us daily on what is happening. And that is why Mr. Watkins has decided and is going along. We are making the arrangement for a Zoom meeting as soon as we can get a time pinned out.
So there is, in fact, at the very least, an agreement in principle in relation to how to proceed with it. Okay, I got you.
And he has been working with us very closely and very good. I must say, we have been communicating.
All right, Your Worship. On to little less controversial matters now. The last time you and I spoke on this very program, Community Buzz on Fit FM 96.7, we had discussions on Rockbridge. Is there anything that you can, I questioned you about Rockbridge. Is there anything you can tell us now at this point in time?
Unfortunately, I cannot tell you nothing about Rockbridge at this time. We have had no further communication on that bridge, or no further information. We rely on National Works Agency, and that question is asked at every meeting, but we haven't had anything that we can tie down on at this present moment. So we are hoping, and we are still doing our contacts and our phone talks to see when we will get something that will tell us, that will be of good news to the people, that will say to us, work will be commencing soon. But at the same time, we are still saying to the agencies that this is an important road. We believe it should be opened, but we will also have to make sure that the proper funding is signed or is done so that are found, so that you can have people traveling on that road, on that bridge, and be safe.
The people of Rock should be happy to hear that explanation. That because another thing out on the street is that it is not going to be reopened because of some other interest. So the people will be glad to hear that the intent is for the roads to be open, the bridge to be open. All right. Another good piece of item that I want to give you the opportunity to explain to us here on Fit FM Community Buzz is the works being carried on in the vicinity of White Bridge on the that waterway there. Tell us, please, what is happening, what are the plans for that area, and where we're going with it.
Yes. Well, as you know, we have been having problems with the drag line, as it's called, and we have been having a lot of dumping going on in the dragging
canal.
And we thought that we would go out there and see if we can find some funding to do proper cleaning. So TF answered the call, and we got some money, about $20 million, over 20 million. And then the contract was awarded, and the cleaning was done. And as you will note, even at White Bridge, where we see some baskets being laid there to protect the
embankment,
eating away of the roadway. So the project has been completed. The draggy is clean. We now have water flowing both ways. We got rid of the smell that had engulfed the town. And things is now back to normal in the druggy. What we are looking at now is the maintenance to keep it in that condition that it is in.
All right. How far are the baskets going to go?
No, the baskets won't go all the way.
All the way
down. Maybe just maybe a 2 chain.
All right. What about the other side of that canal banking?
The what?
The other side of the canal banking. Is there anything that is going to be done there? Because as I understand it, not only garbage and wastewater, but domestic toilet sewage is being drained into the waterway. I don't know how accurate that is, but can you tell us about that?
Well, people, especially those building on the draggy bank, they dispose of everything into the draggy, and so it might be a wood workshop. Depends. You'll see thousands of bottles, plastic bottles, garbage is dumped. But we have done that cleaning, and we have spoken to the people living along the bank that they must take care of.
So are we going to be building a wall along that side? Or are we going to be building a wall?
Not yet.
And no baskets not going on that side either? Oh, okay.
Not at this time.
Okay.
Not at this time. Funding will have to be found now for that side too.
For that side.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Your Worship, you have laid out your case. You have laid out your case in terms of what we wanted to talk to you about. But are there anything, any such thing? Oh, wow. I don't know who made representation for the drop-in center and the feeding center. But tell us a little bit more about that, because obviously we have come a far way from dumping people at Mud Lake. Talk to us.
Well, listen, we know the hard-working minister of local government that we have. And he has been contributing and looking at the needs of the various towns. So we are just one of those towns to build one of the first drop-in center. Might not be the first, but we are up in the front line, where we completed our drop-in center, was able to put it into use, where we can feed the people that is on the road. We are now working closely, and that is now being run by the poor release department.
Are the people using it though? Are the people using it?
Huh?
Are the people using it?
What?
Are the people using it?
Yes. Every day you have all of the people going down to the shopping center, waiting for their food, waiting for those that get medication. They are taken care of. Some of them wanted to sleep over, but it wasn't so designed.
No, but the place looked like a hotel. I took pictures down there the other day, and I was tempted to sleep myself.
Yes, but we should remember, we should remember that these people, some of them are coming from good homes, Some of them, they are turned out of their homes by family member, and the family member occupy these homes. So we can't be putting them down too low if we want to restore their thinking and see if we can bring them around. We have to make sure that the place is comfortable and good and decent, so that when they come in, you will have to struggle with a few of them at first, But afterwards, they realize that I must get my bath, I must change my clothes, and I must get my food. So they come around, and we have seen great improvement.
Well,
And so,
the truth of the matter, Your Worship, is that I noticed that some of those people who used to be in the square are not there anymore. They're just not there.
that's
So
right.
I'm suspecting that that is
That's
right.
right.
I'm gonna ask you
That's right.
again another thing. When the minister was here the other day at the groundbreaking, and I was there representing the my media house, Fit FM 96.7, mention was made of people being left in hospital um by family, left in the hospital, left at poorhouse, all that kind of thing. And then I noted something happening in Westmoreland that was a similar situation. Where is Trelawney at in regard to those situations now? Can you speak to those?
Well, as you will note right now, we can't accept anyone into the infirmary because of COVID rules and regulation.
Okay.
And we want to protect those that are in. But you should also look over to the IC Allen Center and see that we gave that center so that people who are left in Cornwall Regional and Falmouth hospitals could be housed in that building. That is still in operation as we speak. It's still in operation. And until a proper place is found where they can be reunited with family members and so on. But remember too, that they are abandoned by family members.
But Your Worship,
until
Your Worship, can I say this to you? If they are abandoned, and I thought I heard the minister complain of this, if they are abandoned, but when people dead, then come back and want demand land and house and the dead left, why does the government not set up a situation where if the government takes care of these people, a claim is made against property? Or is there such a system?
That is something and a rule that was in long ago, where we call those properties vested properties. So the vestry the land would be given over to the vestry or the poor relief department. I think we had somehow slackened on that. I weren't so paying any more attention to properties. But I really believe that we should go back to this, to do the proper investigation, because we have had incidents of people living in the infirmary. In fact, there was one gentleman, he wanted to go back to his house because he told us his house is there, but was occupied by other relatives. It is time that we take some of these people to court and evict them from the people's home.
Well,
because you just can't turn against your relatives like that and turn them out on the street. It's not right.
Well, earlier on in this year, just a few weeks ago, we had a guest here from the family court's office, and she was explaining to us that there is a way that grandparents, mothers and fathers can make claim against children in circumstances like these. So, I can't see why the law is not being utilized to deal with some of these issues, because here it is that you leave your loved one or your family member, because it can be a loved one. You leave your family on the government for the government to pick up the cost, and then at passing, you come to collect dead left. There must be some penalty there.
You know what some of them do? They abandon them there at the infirmary, and they never come and look for them and pay them a visit. You see, when they hear that the person dies, that is the time they turn up now, and say they want to have big funeral, and they won't be buried in such and such a place, and all of that. They abandon them all along. But after they die, They believe it is time for them to come forward now, because that is sort of cementing them that they have now received the property. So they make them bury them in peace, because they bury them so they get whatever that person had.
Yeah, I see them fighting over the death certificate and all that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very sad. It's very sad.
I think the government needs
Yes.
the government, the parish council, anybody who take up that
Yes.
slack needs to benefit from that property in the same way those family feel that they should benefit. You know. Anyhow,
That's right.
anyhow, from your
Yes.
perspective now, because you've spoken to us a lot, is there any issue that you want to bring to the forefront that we have not spoken about today? Is there any issue that you have that you want to speak to? No.
Well, what I would want to say is that we want to make sure that we have a clean Trelawney, clean Falmouth in particular. We want to make sure that garbage is collected on time. We want to appeal to the many domestic problems that might exist. Some of them might end up in murder.
Right.
We are asking the people to make sure that they be patient, listen to each other, be willing to argue things without fighting and causing a death. Trelawney has been known to be a peaceful area, a peaceful parish. We want it to remain the same. We want everybody to make sure that they look out for their brothers or sisters, making sure everyone is safe. If you see any illegal things, report it to the police.
Having mentioned garbage before you run, what of the transfer station?
Well, I haven't had the final word on that yet. I know at our last meeting, they are working on it. It's still on the books, and the transfer station will take place. But to give you a date at this time, I can't. But it is still there. We are working on it.
All right. I think I can't press you no more. You have graciously stayed with us for almost an hour. So we want to thank you here at Community Buzz and Fit Up. Time fly, not true, time fly. We want to thank you here at Fit FM 96.7. And the airwaves at Fit is open for you anytime you want to call in to talk to us about any issue, and particularly on Community Buzz, because this is the station and the program on which we do things for the community. All right. Thank you again for staying with us.
Thank you very much for this occasion.
All right.
And I will always be available.
Yeah, man. I know the matter is not finished, but you have done yourself a good service.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
You too, please.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You and your staff. We take a break.
Tuesday mornings on Fit FM, it's all about worship and praise. Hey, join me, the Reverend Junior Rutti, on Fit FM 96.7, 8:30 a.m. through 10 a.m. for Praise Up Tuesday, your mid-morning experience. Come with me every Tuesday as we send up the praises to our God on this station, Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. got it now. Help us sing it every praise.
Have you ever desired to experience rebirth in your body, mind, and soul? Then join me, your host, Pastor Chidale Smallwood, aka The Poetic Revolution, on Fit FM 96.7 every Tuesday evening at 6 inside Gospel and Soul for Rebirth, where redemption eventually brings into reality total healing. That is Rebirth on Fit FM 96.7 Gospel and Soul. Your life, your music.
Restoration Ministries presents Talk with Rev, with host Rev Rowan Dunn, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on Fit FM 96.7. You can also join us on YouTube, Facebook at Fit FM 96.7, Your Life, Your Music.
I was lost, but now I'm found. Was bound, but now I'm free.
Join Fit FM weeknights at 8 p.m. for News Brief, a compilation of news stories from Trelawney and neighboring parishes provided by credible news sources, with a repeat at 10 a.m. weekday mornings. That's News Brief, weeknights at 8 p.m., with a repeat weekdays at 10 a.m. on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Thank you. We are back. You know, sir, I'm actually tired because that was an intense interview just now. Conversation, really. Correction, conversation. But what is happening now is whether or not you like the record, from the mayor's perspective, he has set the record straight. If you have a dissenting voice in relation to what is happening, in relation to whether or not you spoke to the mayor, whether or not you understood what the mayor was saying here, but the phone is open, 876-482-4944. You're here in the community buzz, Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. So you come and you talk to us. You can text us at 876-317-1991. All right. So we're here and open and ready. Some surprises were revealed by his worship, because one of the things is that, and I hope the diaspora or people in the diaspora are listening. One of the things that came to the front for me, one of my takeaway, is that not everybody seemed to be on the same page in the diaspora. And if you have a concern, you have to come with your concern from a position of collectiveness, if I'm making a new word. Yeah? It can't be one Falmouth man who live in America, England coming. It has to represent, when you say diaspora. Now, if you're representing yourself, it's a completely different matter, right? Because all of us have our individual views, and Jamaica is still a place where you have freedom of speech. So there's nothing wrong with that. But we don't want to mix up the diasporal thought with the individual thought. So we're waiting on somebody to give us a call to talk about that. All right? In the meantime, we have, I want to thank His Worship again. Second time, I'm sure his staff came big into that with respect to the research to complete the information that he delivered this afternoon. So we want to be thankful again to His Worship. If you're out there, somebody was trying to hint, but you were so vague. You need to be a little bit more specific with that issue of the demolition of house. I don't know. Ed Wallace, don't know anything about it, neither personally nor corporatively. So it's not like Fit hear any little whispering and it's not been discussed at Fit. Fit no hear nothing about it. Fit FM 96.7 no hear nothing of it. And Edward Wallace personally no hear nothing of it. None of the team, right. The community team, the community bus team don't know anything about it. So if you want to give us some information, call us and talk now, and we can raise it. It's not too late for raise it, if it is worthwhile raising, So Dr. Ash and Bingy, line up and give us a talk. Did we have a call there or something, madam? No? All right, so we're moving right along. I would love to hear from the former mayor, Garth Wilkinson, on some issues on which I wanna if he doesn't call me in 5, can I take and call him, because we had spoken about this? Yeah. So but I want to talk to Garth about the street lighting for Falmouth to Martha Brae. He had some concerns there. People have concerns there because when the roads are not properly lit, just the one street light, we're begging for refuge and can't get it. We know the importance of street light, much less on that main thoroughfare. So I want to talk to Garth about that and other issues. I'd also want to get his feedback on the situation that we just discussed, because he is indeed the counselor for the Falmouth division. So I would love to give him an opportunity for a say in that regard too. In the news now, the big news for this week on a more national basis, the PNP in a trouble. Somebody is saying that the PNP catch the R strain of the COVID virus. R strain meaning resignation. Everybody resign. What is to become of our democracy in terms of how it generally operates? For me, Edward is here, not necessarily the station. I don't want to chance anything with a one-party parliament again. We did it at 1983 with Mr. Siaga. And it depended on the goodness of Mr. Siaga not to abuse the privilege given by that one-party parliament. No, good men are all over, but Mutty Perkins used to say, our system should not depend on good men. Our system should be able to protect itself, take care of itself. And what is happening within the PNP now and with the PNP, if we have a 1983 situation, because some people are poking the bear. And what I mean by poking the bear, teasing Mr. Holness as if, yeah, man, you look for call election, all of that is happening. And Mr. Holness has said recently that no election will be called. I don't know right now. I don't know if he said for this year. I don't recall. He has COVID handling. He has the D strain, the Delta virus, to confront anytime it gets here, if it gets here and start to spread. So I'm not so sure that he would want to put Jamaicans out on the road in a campaign situation. But let's say he did. Would the PNP be ready for an election, a parliamentary election, or even a parish council election, so that democracy as we have become used to it in Jamaica will continue? The fact of the matter is that I trust the Honorable Prime Minister, but I don't know that we, the people, need to give him that cross to carry. I think we need as vibrant a democracy as we can get within our two-party Westminster system. The People's National Party, you might think that nobody else has interest in your business if you're not comrade. And that would be so arrogant and so wrong. The political parties, I am hoping, exist for Jamaica's sake and not for the sake of themselves. And so there are people who are genuinely worried about the state of our two-party system if this keeps up. Now, a lot went on during the JLP's wilderness season with Mr. Siaga at the helm of the party. But still, the country worked through. So we had the 83 to 89 one-party parliament. Then we had a situation where the JLP was in constant struggle with itself, and we're not so sure that the people of Jamaica were getting the best possible service at the time. Do we want to go there again? I don't think so. So I'm hoping that the People's National Party can get its act together so that it can best serve the interest of the people of Jamaica. It is very necessary for Jamaica to have this kind of democracy all the time, whichever party in power. A nice balance in the two-party parliamentary system. We don't mean two-party with one outer door. And if the PNP keeps this up, you may have a 63-seat parliament for the JLP after the next election. One of them not call it Duppy still, you know. And I'm not calling it Duppy. I'm just sincerely hoping that the PNP will get its act together pretty soon so that Jamaica can benefit. I don't think Norman Manley would have foreseen this. As a matter of fact, I don't think even recent prime ministers within the PNP would have seen this happening, because it can only happen elsewhere. No, it is happening to you. How are you going to negotiate this? How are you going to get through this? This whole heap of passa and hate for power. For power. The other thing that I cannot understand, when did we, or perhaps it was and I didn't notice, but how could we have a situation now where a parliamentarian within his own party can be hinting, stroke complaining, stroke reporting that his name for not so good acts went to the US Embassy by virtue of his own colleagues? When did we get so dread that we decide that we want to take away a man's visa in that kind of way? Perhaps, well, I don't know, because that is a little bit of treachery if somebody really did that. Why? Because if Mr. Paulwell or Mr. Vaz was involved in any kind of wrongdoing, what kind of wrongdoing would have been beyond the Jamaican criminal justice system to deal with it? Why is it that we would have... So, you know what now? So we don't have no proof. But we intend on doing the man them damage, so we do it anyway. Just because we can. Incidentally, when Mr. Tapia came out to vindicate Mr. Vaz, and as a matter of fact, even before, Mr. Vaz was on radio with a prominent talk show host, telling about his situation of his version of the big lie. His version of the big lie. And it was only a week before that I was talking about the court of public opinion. And you know, Mr. Darrell Vaz is the only Jamaican that I know that has been tried, found guilty, and sentenced to a life sentence in the court of public opinion, whose standard of evidence is if you know go so in here so. Which one of us Jamaicans would want that to happen to us? If you know go so in here so, and we are sentenced to life for it. But we have done things to each other for the power and the glory. And that's for sure, even though it seems strange to me, that is really strange to how we operate our politics. And if this is how we operate our politics, no wonder crime can done. No wonder crime can done. Because we have a democratic system in Jamaica, which is supposed to be one man, one vote. You contend in the marketplace of ideas. You sell your ideas. You buy other people's ideas, even steal ideas, because that is the nature of democracy. It is the nature of our system. Why now we have to go above and beyond to do individual damage? These kind of character assassinations. True or false, but no proof. The standard that we operate on is evidence. Good evidence, solid evidence. And if we don't have it, why we take rumor just because we can manipulate the US government? Why we take rumors, carrot go get them against these two gentlemen? It can't be right. It cannot be right. It cannot be right. The other thing that we're hearing that is coming out of the politics, which again is not new, but what is happening, the chickens are coming home to roost. The set the deck thing, the delegates we're talking about, where you have paper delegates who have nothing to do with party activities, but then get paid for go vote for party executive members. That is coming out in the mix, and it's this new PNP thing. But I know it's not new. And when we turn a blind eye to these things within the intra-party democracy, we must look for it to backfire, because what goes around comes around. So we do it in other parties, then we do it in a big election. All of a sudden we have a corrupt system of government. Easy for corrupt a country, and hard for corrupt a country, The hardest job is to keep it clean. But when we start to do little things and we start get this snowballing effect, then again, I'm warning, we're heading towards failed state. So whether it's happening in the PNP or the JLP, or the PNP and the JLP, we must look at it with some eyes of enlightened self-interest and say, yo, say if we continue them little fraud, yeah, you're going to come back for your aren't we? Because we will not get the representatives we deserve. Good people will not come into the system, and politicians are going to always be seen as criminals. So we're shooting ourselves in the foot. That is all I have to say about that one. In respect of, we're ready for a break yet? All right. In respect of another issue now. Back foot. On the years that George right, I go get married. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know. It was in the newspapers. Uh, my my producer is assuming that we don't know the story of George Wright. So, but I'm not going to get in the tabloid business, except to say that stool beating, the stool work. I'm not going to get involved there. But I don't know. This don't look so kosher because these accusations, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe the lady came out and said, this didn't happen. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. No, I don't know what to say, but I don't know what to make of this. I really don't know what to make of this. And the reason why I don't know what to make of it is if what was being said is, and then again, I shouldn't even go there. I shouldn't even go there because I'm not going to go there. I'm taking it all back. I see a lady up in top Trelawney, got her tummy nearly cut out, and went to court and said, Judge, leave him alone. Is my man. Yeah? Oh, Lord, have mercy. But maybe I'm comparing apples and oranges. Maybe these two situations are different. In maybe I'm now guilty of setting up Mr. Wright for the treatment of Mr. Vaz. And if it's not fair for Mr. Vaz, it's not fair for Mr. Wright. There's no evidence. There is no evidence. So let me not go there. But so let me just drop that one alone. Let me just drop it. I've often warned on this program. Yeah, 876-482-4944, 876-317-1991. And that's Community Buzz, Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music. Give us a call. We want to discuss some things. Yeah? Mr. Former Mayor, call me now if you're there. It's time. Bingy, you can give me a call too. Tell me about this fire thing. But I've often warned of the need for a separation of church and state. And in the newspaper recently, I see a pastor calling for the government to come into play to regulate the clergy, who can get in and who shouldn't. And I found it very, very, very strange, that call. Because I don't know if enigma, that term would apply here. But the contradictions. Why would a church not be able to regulate its own pastors? Isn't it this call, isn't it an admission, a big admission of failure on the part of the church when a clergyman of the caliber of this particular priest stroke bishop calls for government intervention in regulating who gets into the clergy and who stays out. Because that is my understanding of my reading. How is the government now going to determine that a man is too adulterous, he cannot be a pastor? A man is too much of a fornicator, can't be a pastor. Man is too much of a child sex offender, can't be a pastor. Man is too much of a homosexual, can't be a pastor. And all those things that would disqualify you. How are you expecting the government to now regulate sin? And what of the concept of forgiveness? I don't know how it's going on, but this just seems strange to me. Pastor calls on government or calls for government to regulate pastors. So when the government start regulate pastors now, what happened to the minor church, the minor prophets, the minor priests, the minor preachers, the minor churches, what happened to those? When the government start regulate pastors, what happened to the revivalist movement, Poco movement? What happens there? What are we asking for? Realize that we have to be careful. Because this mix of church and state, is exactly what caused the Inquisition. And there are people who don't love history, but do. It's easy. Google it, Inquisition, and you don't even have to spell it. Just say it in the mic, and Google will search for it and show you. Why is it that we cannot see beyond the immediate problems when we're trying to solve problems? Why is it that we're so lazy in solving our problems? Is it not the responsibility of the church to monitor itself? If the church cannot monitor itself, how to expect to monitor anybody else? In fact, it is Paul who said, if we cannot judge each other, when we will be judges of them out there, what is our use? Are we worth our salt? I'm only paraphrasing Paul, though. What kind of argument this? What kind of argument this, Pastor? Somebody call me and tell me. What is the government expected to do? Take over religion? What is the government expected to do? Somebody call me and tell me. Do. 876-482-4944, 876-317-1991. Call me and tell me. And when the government move from selecting pastors and start selecting church, what do we do? Because recently, it was reported in the newspaper that there was a group of Seventh-day Adventist people, or so they call themselves, who were pronouncing that the government is about to declare the Sunday law. And I said the Sunday law because I've been reading about it for years, where you select Sunday as a day of worship, and it is nationalized, institutionalized, and that is it. So 6 days a week, and Sunday is the Sabbath. And you know definitely how the Adventist movement feel about that. So if we have all those issues to deal with, why are we inviting government administration of church activities. Why? When it come, what we gonna do? We have the most churches per square mile in the world. So it said, I don't know if it's the same thing. No. But why when the government come and say, all right, too much, we are locked down some because them preacher they're not right, so we are locked down some church. And what happens when your church gets caught in it? I still say, oh my gosh. I still say one of the ways to deal with errant priests, especially pastors, errant priests and pastors, especially with the nature of the abuse that has been going on, is to make up your own list of offenders. Whether it is that them thief church money or them abuse a little church sister. Make up your own list, post it. So any man, make it be that any person coming in the clergy understand that if they err in these ways, the fact of the matter is that they're going to go up on this list. And then people now can decide whether or not they still want to hear them people preach. But I cannot agree to the government coming in to tell anybody that they can or cannot pastor a church. Tell me what you think now. I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to run the numbers again. 876-482-4944. 876-317-1991. I take a short break. We'll be right back.
Tune in to Beach 21 with Akima every Friday at 3:45 inside the afternoon flow for your entertainment, news, views, and what's new internationally and locally. Right here on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
Amazing. You make my life feel brand new.
Join us on Be Inspired with Shaggy Tosh and DJ Jai
on Feed FM 96.7
every Tuesday between 12 noon and 2 p.m. Jamaican time.
You can also tune in via www.facebook.com/FeedFM 96.7.
You can't afford to miss it. Keep on being inspired on Fit FM.
Jesus, you love me too much, oh. Too much, excess love.
Hi, I'm Carl Core. Join me Monday to Friday for Children of the Night. Let me keep your company playing your favorites on this station, Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music.
At A Gentle Touch of Care Home Health Services, Duncan's Trelawney, we believe in person-centered care. We take pride in improving the health and quality of life of all our residents. Join me, Jody Marie Bihari, Monday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on Fit FM for a gentle approach to a healthier you. That's 8 a.m. Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music.
Are you struggling with loneliness? Feeling depressed? Are you searching for a purpose to live? Are you ready to tap into your inner greatness? Ready to soar to your full potential? Come and be inspired. Join me, Dr. Asha Mwendo, on Healing Moment inside Gospel and Soul every Wednesday, 6 p.m., where we will help you to understand your purpose. We will help you to find your wind. We'll show you how to open your wings and fly. healing moments. Fit FM 96.7, your life, your music.
Mukbang Takeout Restaurant is now open at Cary Park, Trelawney, off the North Coast Highway, serving your favorite Chinese and vegetarian dishes for lunch and dinner from 11 a.m. daily. Call them at 876-442-8983. Mukbang Takeout Restaurant for the very best in Chinese and vegetarian dishes. It does not get any better than this. Hi there, I'm Julia Mika Benaya. Join me weekday evenings at 6 p.m. for Gospel and Soul, a program that gives you the very best in gospel music from Jamaica and around the world. That's Gospel and Soul, weekday evenings at 6 p.m. on Fit FM 96.7. Your life, your music.
The water fountain is a monument to one, cutting edge technology at the time. I don't know how many people know. Jamaica didn't get water. Falmouth didn't get running water before the New York, like how Falmouth get running water at the beginning of the United States. When United States just start, Falmouth have running water already. And that's a big piece of history, a big piece of story to be told in Water Square, Falmouth. The other piece is that Falmouth may have been the first in the Western Hemisphere to get running water. So there's a monument for just that, the fountain. Falmouth, again, the monument that we're looking at is also a monument to public health, because public health is synonymous with running water. All them plagues that hit Europe, or a lot of those plagues that hit Europe back in the days, were associated with hygiene. And if people had and were using running water, some of those hygiene issues would have gone by. A lot of people would have, perhaps survived. And so the monument of the fountain represents that public health awareness, that public health contribution of Water Square to health. So there's, I think, Mr. Mayor, that there are some stories, and I don't know. The big question for me is, how are we going to mix this big story of 9.58, 1919, and mix that story with the story that is being told with this other part of our history? And it is seeming as if we're becoming victims of our own very rich history. I've said it before, I'm saying it again. How are we going to tell these two stories so that these stories become significant? Because Dr. Bowles' statue is not just about, Dr. Bowles' statue is not just about getting tourists to come and take pictures, That's a real thick part of our history. A big part of our history. A big part of our history. That is a story by itself. Dr. Bolt, born in the area, born at Sherwood, went to William Knibb High School, worked hard at his craft, became the fastest man in the world, and went to the top of his business, all from this little community of Trelawney, of Sherwood, with the capital of Falmouth. Big story, big history. Movies are being done about him. Books are being written about him. Big story. But how are we going to tell our youngsters now that in that area of Water Square, where we cannot separate the story, in a field that we can separate the monuments, that is, how are we going to highlight the story of cutting edge technology at the time? Because between that time, 250 years ago, and Rome, the technology to move water had not changed. Yet Jamaica, Falmouth, Trelawney had running water, just like Rome would have had. And many communities, many countries in the world would have died for lack of. So there's that one story. How are we going to tell that story? How are we going to extract that story? Is it important that we separate that story? Constantine's monuments are still in Rome, even though the road them built around it, all kinds of development take place around it. The Colosseum of Rome is still there. still big, still a tourist attraction, and it's a separate attraction. The aqueducts of Rome still there. Hadrian's Wall is still in Europe. Is the statue of Mr. Bolt deserving of a very big place in Trelawney in Jamaica in the Western Hemisphere going to diminish the story of this piece of our history? And as I pick it up, these are some of the concerns that are out there, Mr. Mayor. These are some of the concerns that are out there. From what you have explained to us, the statue of Dr. Bolt and the water fountain can coexist. But those are the two structures. What of the stories? How are we going to separate the stories? How are we going to make the story meaningful as heritage to our youngsters, as well as have you wishing well with your coins being dropped into the fountain? All of that important, but the story, Mr. Mayor. How are we going to tell those two stories? Are they, as a matter of fact, I'm willing to yield to, are they worth telling? Because if they're not worth telling in a make sense way, dead over it. The bold story is current and good, so we can retain that. But that little story there of that little place, our aqueduct, our water wheel, our fountain, is it anything of value that we should want to keep it? Or not? Or not? Where where are you, man? Where are you? Adam, where art thou? Cain, where is your brother? Man, where is your brother? Where is your uncle? Where is your father? Have you any concern for the other person? Abraham, where is your wife? Are we taking care of our women, our girls, our children, our wives, our girlfriends, our mothers, our aunts, our sisters? If we were ever concerned about those three issues, perhaps the crime would not be happening like it's happening in Jamaica now. If we were concerned about our brothers, we wouldn't be killing our brothers. If we were concerned about our sisters, wives, or women, we wouldn't be doing them damage either. And then women, you have to be concerned too. Where's your husband? Are you taking care? We're in the age now where we have to show our independence, and independence is more defined by our showing our singleness more than anything else. We can't be independent for the support of the family. We can't be independent and not damaged. We have to show our singleness. We have to show that nobody no control we. We can't show our independence by choosing to be cooperative in our family units. That not independent enough. Independent must mean we can do what we want when we want to do it. Where are we with each other? I keep asking these weird questions for the last couple of weeks. I think I've asked them enough, and we're going to have to move on from that. But it is significant that For every time we have an experience in life with other people, and even in our own mind sometimes, we ask ourselves, where are we? Where are we? What are we doing about this? Are we settled? Are we good? Are we bad? I think that this afternoon, this afternoon is as good as a good an afternoon as any other one to reflect on those questions and to ask yourself. I'm going to say to you, come next week. My agenda for next week, our agenda for next week. I don't know what we'll be doing for next week, but when next week comes, because I think we're getting out to some activities. I don't know. There's something special happening for next week. You'll hear more about it. But while I leave this afternoon, I just want us to kind of think about each other. Don't be as selfish as we are being. We can't want what we want when we want it all the time. And if we don't get it, we either take it or mash up the conditions under which we should have get it so that nobody else can benefit. I want to thank the Mayor for joining us, His Worship the Mayor for joining us this afternoon, taking the time out for spending an hour and laying out his case properly. The questions I ask are just questions to be asked about the history of Falmouth, with the history, the amalgamated history of Falmouth, including Mr. Bolt and the Water Square and other areas too. I think Falmouth has a rich history, and we need to highlight it and deal with it in ways that we can benefit as well as learn from, not just the financial gains. So it was in that spirit, Mr. Mayor, if you're still hearing me, that I outlined the history of the Water Square. We want to thank you again for coming to us and explaining, as I said, your case. Very good, very properly laid out case. And I hope that people in the diaspora, that you get your act together and you either see the picture and be genuine about it, or you come up front and make your contribution in such a way that we don't have the patchy approach to getting our problems solved, but we have collective approaches moving forward. That's the best way to go. One man won't have everything we want. It's a community benefit we are looking for, community effort. And so we want you to concentrate on that. For those of you who just listened, I want to thank you for staying with us this week. We'll see you at another point in time, and we will talk. I want you to take good care, be safe on the road, be safe against COVID, and we, God willing, will meet again soon. Thank you. So here I am, the controversial Ed Wallace. I'm on Community Buzz